I'm Jamie with Starry Constellation magazine. This is such a beautiful film, and Raymond, you bring such levity to it. Was that important for you when you were reading the script?
Well, yeah, it was. I mean, it was written in the script. That was their whole. The writer and the storytellers, the producers, the director. They wanted, because it's such a dark subject matter that we're dealing with, to bring some levity to it. But it also comes out of a very real place, in that the character is uber masculine. He's ignorant as to what's happening to him, and he's trying to figure it out. But he's very much afraid, so it comes out of fear. So the joking about it and trying to figure out, do I what do should I even come here? But I have to. I'm forced to because I'm suffering from breast cancer. And he has, 1% of males in the United States will develop breast cancer during their lifetime. And like, I wasn't aware of this before I read the script and before, I did the research, and then I realized, wow, I didn't even know that this was possible, that a male could develop breast cancer. Then he
Yeah.
has to go through the same thing that a woman has to go through, from diagnosis to treatment. And hopefully, it doesn't metastasize and spread in his body to other organs, and then, eventually kill him. So yeah, bringing the levity was just it's a very dark, serious matter, but just trying to, have the character deal with this, unfortunate medical diagnosis that he has, and then having to, like, realize, wow, why me? I'm a victim. He feels victimized by the fact that 1% of males, and he's the lucky one, to have to go through this. So the levity is great in the film. They're trying to entertain and educate, and I think we accomplished it. And it's such a tight scene with Devin.
Michael, you're so great. I love Pat's supportive, loving nature. Talk about working with um, this beautiful creator here, Devin, to make this relationship as supportive and loving as possible.
Yeah, I mean, credit goes to Devin for being such a lovely leading lady. I mean, that makes my job way easier. And she was lovely to work with, and having someone who actually lived this, this story, our movie's based on her real life journey. And she was always open and honest and engaged with me if I had any questions. She spoke to me because, I represent the husband in this story. I talked to her about what it was like for her husband, when they were going through this. And she was always willing to offer me anything, both in real life and also as an actress. And on the day and performing together, she was always so engaged. We're always, this is very serious, dramatic, and at times dark material, but we're always trying to find that comedy, always trying to find that lightheartedness, and because comedy is a great communicator. Raymond mentioned we were trying to educate, we're trying to entertain and educate. Well, I feel like we educate in a better way when we keep it light. When things tend to get very, very dark and they stay dark, I feel like sometimes people kind of they turn off to it, right? They don't want to go
Sure.
to those places. So if we keep it light, we keep it real, I feel like we can get our message across in a better and deeper way. So credit goes to the writers and producers and to Devin and to the great cast for us being able to kind of juggle both of these both of these of what we were really trying to accomplish.
Both of you are so good in it. Raymond, is there a particular scene you're most proud of the work you put into? My favorite is, you're sitting there with Devin and you're making a little bit of light and you're saying a manogram. And I think that's the sweetest scene because she needs that little bit of laughter at that moment to sort of remind her that there is, goodness. There's a little bit of humor you can find in everything. What were your favorite scenes to film?
Well, I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm not in a lot of scenes in the movie. I think I'm in two, and just having that connection with her when we're both suffering and trying to find solace in our diagnosis, and then what we have to deal with, and finding a little levity in it to just lighten the mood, and to be able to communicate with each other, and find comfort. So it was like in the finding of that comfort, and two damaged souls, coming together, and for creating a spark for this one moment that serves both of them. It makes them both feel better, And it also, like, for my character, it helps him to move forward and then dealing with this diagnosis.
Michael, and what do you hope really lingers with audiences that watch this film? Is there a particular message you hope soaks in?
Yeah, I think the thing for me is just to keep it as a nice tight bullet point is like there's strength and vulnerability, especially for men. I think women vulnerability comes easier than it is for men. Men tend to have this idea that being vulnerable means weakness when it's just the opposite. A man who's willing to be vulnerable, that shows strength. And, for Pat in the story, wanting to do always trying to do the right thing, always trying to be the nice supportive partner, that means not only listening and holding space, but it also means communicating and speaking what you're going through as well, because we're going through this together. And I think that's the one thing, again, that the Patch World does is it reflects the ripple effects of a BRCA, diagnosis and the decisions that need to be made and all the relationships involved, the partners, the parents, the siblings, how everyone's affected. And everyone should be aware and everyone should take a proactive role in not only being aware of this, but like knowing how to engage and how to be there for each other if this would ever happen to them.
I mean, I think that's a great thing that people take away too, is especially as a man, like when your spouse is suffering from something so, confusing, something so scary, something so life altering that you need to step up rather than step back and show them that they're still loved, that you're there for them, that they have all of those things that they are afraid they might lose.
I think that's great. That's great advice. Step up instead of stepping back. It's not about not wanting to make it about you, but like just being there for them means communication, which means back and forth. You know, it's not just a one note thing. It's being engaged.
Right. I mean, it's sometimes it's just holding a hand, but sometimes it's just being there while they cry. Sometimes it's just letting them vent all of their frustrations. And I think Love Danielle does a beautiful job of showing that spousal support in such a great light. So thank you both so much for your time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.